All right, so next up, we have Kajsa Hartig, who is a digital navigator at the Nordiska museet in Stockholm, Sweden. As such, she supports and educates the staff throughout the organization. She is chairing the museum's social media group, working with external partners as Wikimedia Sweden, and she conducts pilot projects within areas of social, mobile, and digital technology.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. As you've heard, lightning talks are supposed to be fun, and challenges are, as you know, maybe not that fun, but I hope that we can find some positiveness in the solutions together. Introducing digital transformation is what this talk is about, and it has been addressed before during the conference. Yesterday you might have heard Caroline Royston from the Imperial War Museum talking about this. And my 7 minutes will address the challenges that can come from the process of introducing digital transformation, and my focus will be on social digital, as I believe this is the key to the disruptiveness that we are facing at the moment. So I come from the Nordiska museet in Stockholm. It's Sweden's largest cultural historical museum. It was founded already in 1873. The building was finished in 1907, and we've been there ever since. We have 4 castles and manors to look after us as well, and about 160 employees. So, digital in itself is not new to our museum, but with increasing and changing demands from stakeholders in our digital strategies, the new media department was launched in 2011. And this has been a great step for the museum, since we now have a department that has mandate, resources, and support from our management. As I said, digital isn't new. We've been around since the early 1990s working with digitization, as you probably have, all of you. We have, in around 2008, added some social media, but still not changing our traditional way of working, not really disrupting any museum practices. However, with the new media department and with the ability to focus on digital developments and strategies, we have learned that to take a step back from technology and look at the broader context in which these tools and services are operating. Because now we're facing a new challenge to become a social organization. Once adopting the thoughts of social digital organization, introducing digital transformation has become a lot easier. Today, we believe it's about using digital technologies to innovate museum practices, to encourage co-creation and collaboration, and to respond to our stakeholders' needs. So in my job, when talking about organizations becoming digital, I tend to focus on social media because these are tools and services that can help in the process of bridging the gap between being a traditional organization and a social digital. And in this process of becoming social organization, we face challenges, and I will go through 7 of them that I have found challenging. Up till now, we've been focused on technology, but in this new world we live in today, we have to address the entire social and digital ecosystem, in which we have the people, of course, the content. We have to look at strategies and practices, as well as technology. And these are, as many of us have said during the conference, disruptive changes. And I think it's good to repeat that, because when we are working with people, our staff, we have to be aware of that. They are being very affected by these changes. And as I mentioned, digital isn't new. It's when we have the social digital that things really are challenging. So I will start with the challenges. First of all, the inability to introduce social digital into the organization. For the organization to recognize the need for social digital awareness and knowledge, someone has to introduce this new idea. This has often more or less intentionally been done by individuals, web, IT people, etc. And from there to bringing sustainable awareness into the entire organization, there are several steps and problems to overcome. Another challenge is lack of social digital awareness within management, which I think many of you recognize. And this is something that will make the change towards a more social, open, and transparent organization difficult. To bring awareness and skills to departments and staff is different from bringing knowledge and awareness to the management, and possibly even more challenging. Challenge number 3, integrating social digital in everyday life. Even when mandate is given and resources have been allocated, adopting social digital on an individual level can be a major disruption causing anxiety. How do we make social digital relevant on an individual or even personal level? Number 4, failing to recognize the need for a holistic view, the digital ecosystem. Social digital is made up of an ecosystem of technologies, culture, and people, and we can't just focus on tools and services anymore. And constant monitoring is necessary to be able to choose which parts of the ecosystem to interact with, how to interact when and with what tools and services, who will do the monitoring, how much time should be spent, and how do we make sure we can act upon the analyze from the monitoring. Number 5, inability to reprioritize work efforts. Much of the responsibility for the social digital has to move out into the organization. On all levels, social digital isn't a part of most current museum practices. How do we adopt these new tools and methods? Do we stop doing other things, or do we just change our work methods, or both? And how can we argue that social digital actually is improving our work at the museum? Have to finish off quickly. Number 6, lack of flexibility, rigid structures and hierarchies. Moving towards the social digital organization requires agile workflows, and this is quite, requires changes in the organizational structures. And the last one, lack of adequate technological devices, training, etc. I can give an example from our museum. We have all the staff got smartphones, but they're not very good. They have bad user interfaces, they're not working, etc. So people are very frustrated. So it's my job to convince the management that we need to buy new smartphones. So several solutions. I will do this very quickly. Failing to introduce the idea of social digital. So start planning, know where to start and what to achieve. Challenge number 2, management not digital aware. Invite external expertise, and as Caroline said yesterday, show results. That's very important. Failing to adopt in everyday life. So make it relevant to the staff. If it's not relevant, they would just say, I don't have time for this. Educate, support. Not paying attention to digital ecosystems. You have to map your systems, learn how they work. Inability to reprioritize work efforts. Again, educate, launch pilot projects. Rigid, flexible structures and hierarchies. Encourage cross-departmental work. And last one, lack of devices and training. Know what it takes to succeed. Thank you.